Mice here, welcome back to my channel, and in this video, I will be helping you guys out through your journey in Raid Shadow Legends by pointing out the top mistakes that anyone can commit in this game. The first mistake that you must avoid is not 6-starring your campaign farmer when you start out the game. Your campaign farmer can either be Kayle, Aethel, Gaelic, or Elhain. These champions have to be your first ever 6-star, and one more thing to keep note of is to make it 6 stars right away. And do not make a lot of 5 stars down here. This is just an example. Obviously, for my account level, I'm free to do that. But when you are starting out, do not make a lot of 5 stars that you want to keep. Because in order to make a champion 6 stars, you need to sacrifice 5 other 5-star champions. Now, related to this mistake is after people get their first 6 stars, they decide to make a lot of 5 stars. Again, that is completely wrong. What you want to do is get as many 6 stars as possible on your account as fast as possible. Even on my account here, as you can see, I have a lot of champions in the vault, keep that in mind. But look at my account, it's filled with 60s and barely any 50s. This is because the difference of a 60 and 50 is too much. It's double the amount of stats that a 50 could have. And that is exactly why I only keep 60s and I don't make as much 50s. Now, the only time you want to have 50s is if you are using them for purely support or for faction wars. But you are not supposed to be looking at faction wars until you are quite in the end game or mid game. So as for where I am, I'm currently working on my faction wars the past week. I am already done with High Elf, Dwarf, and my Barbarian Crypt. I've completed the faction war stage 21. But that's not the topic for this video. So moving on to mistake number 2 is keeping flat stats on your account. The only exception to keeping flat stats on your account is that they have a speed roll. So let's put this up right now. What you can do is do the gloves, chest, and boots. Anything that is flat stats, you must get rid of them. Now, for the reason that I have this is not supposed to be here, so you guys didn't see that. And the reason for these two being here is that these two are more rare of a set, but it's highly unlikely I'm going to be using them unless I rework them right here. So the only time I'm actually gonna possibly use this is if I use my Chaos Ores on them. But going back to the possibility of having speed equipped, so let's do this first. So you can see that I have flat stats over here, but they only double roll speeds. So if they are anything less than a double speed, you must get rid of them instantly because flat stats in this game are extremely bad. Now on to mistake number 3 is wasting your shards. These shards should only be pulled during a 2x or a fusion if you are completely free to play. This is because the 2x events can give you 2 times the chances to get a legendary and an epic. And for the early game, even epic champions are extremely good for your account. Let me give you an example. So I pulled my Deacon really early into the game. This guy is only an epic but is extremely good for your account. He brings turn meter, fill and decrease, and then has decreased defense with leech and a speed aura. Another example of an epic being really good is Fireking right here. Epic but an ally attack, which is technically better than Lanakis down here, which is a legendary. Hold on. So there she is. This is Lanakis, an ally attack champion as well, but Firekin, an epic, is much better than the Lego. So you need to keep in mind here, the rarity of the champion does not make the champion extremely good. Rather, it's based on the skills. Just like here, the epic is better than the legendary. Now the next thing to keep in mind is these shards can also be used for fusion events. So if you see a fusion champion that you really want, that is the only time you have to pull for them, since the events you need to pull in order to get the champions required or the fragments. But for my recommendation, for the first 2 to 3 months of your time, only pull them during 2x and not fusions. This is because if you are free to play, Plarium has extremely boosted the amount of requirements for fusions. So when I first started out, getting fusions was quite easy. This was around 2020. But then I quit. And then I just came back last month. So you can see that Rorik, I also had Yoshi. These were the only 2 fusions that I played. And they were extremely easy to get even for a 1-month-old account. However, nowadays, let's use Freya for an example. She's not fusion champion, but she is technically a free champion. But the requirements for her are extremely high. So my main suggestion for the shards is that you pull them during 2x. And only on 2x if you guys are not even 2 months old yet. Now the next mistake here is dungeons. You guys see that dungeons can drop gear. Look at this, 3 times speed is very tempting. Actually, it might be good for your account, but without the 3 times speed, it is terrible. What you want to do for your first month is come to campaign, get as many 6 stars as you can, and if you want gear, go to brutal. Stage 6 drops speed gear and stage 8 drops lifesteal gear. These two gear sets are the only gear sets you will need for the first maybe 4 months of your game time, with the exception of stun set. So if you guys do want to farm stun set, it's on Fire Knight. The next mistake I see is people not focusing on Arena. Arena and Live Arena can give you great haul bonuses. So if you come over here, it can give you bonuses. So you can see here that I've been doing a lot of fights. It's only the first day. I'm already 25 battles in. And these basically give you free stats. You can spend them anywhere, wherever you're struggling. For me, I put stats onto different places. So Clan Boss, Spider's Den, and Fire Knights, Dragons. Then I have a lot on Faction Wars. This is because I need to be completing Faction Wars as fast as possible, as I really want Lydia. Now for the Great Haul bonuses, these are affinity specific. So you can see Magic Affinity. All of these stats only apply to Magic Affinity champions. And the only stat that you should never be upgrading really early are these attack ones. This is because the attack ones only affect attack champions, and it does nothing for your HP, support, and defense champion. Now this tip is for the Tag Team Arena and Clan Shop. What you want to do is do your daily battles, come over here to the bazaar. Mine is already done since I already have Drexstar bought, but if you haven't bought him, there will be a Drexstar fragment worth 360. Make sure you buy that every day because there's a 24-hour cooldown. The same thing for Clan Shop, you want to be doing your quests here. Some clans have specific rules, so make sure you keep that in mind. Only want to spend your clan gold on energy, rare books, Yannica, and Yakarl. You can also get these accessories if you have an abundance of clan gold, but that's about it. Make sure you never buy these chickens, never buy the silver, or the attack champs, or the skin fragments in the really early game. Now for the final mistake we are going to be covering in this video is your books. Your books have a corresponding rarity, so rare books can only be used in rare champions, epic books can only be used on epic champions, and legendary books can only be used on legendaries. However, there is an exception. If the book is higher than the rarity of the champion, you are able to use it as well. So for epic champions, you're allowed to use epic and mythical books. However, that is a really huge waste, so don't do that. Relating to books, so spending books gives you a lot of CVC points, or recently they added it on champion training tournaments as well. If you are planning to spend these legendary books or epic books, make sure you are doing it on CVC or champion training tournament because these will give you extra bonuses. I hope you guys did learn something. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more content.